Hello, Gwyn Lord of Cinder. I have a delivery for you. It is called a sword in your face. I hope you don't mind. Hello again, and welcome to the final episode of Dark Souls 1 Remastered. Probably. Yeah. So, this might be it. This could be the final hurrah. Yeah, when it's like, well, what are we doing today? Today we're fighting Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. And then we're done. That's it. I've done everything else I can in this playthrough. I guess that's not true. There's a little bit of bookkeeping to do first, which is to show you, last week I said I was gonna farm off stream so that I could show you some boss weapons this time, and then, then we'd call it. So I did a few things off stream. The first, sorry Twitch, you don't get to see this. YouTube gets to see it because I did record it as a little clip, but I killed Big Hat Logan. Oops. Turns out, after you buy all of his spells, which I was getting for the achievement, not that I can get that achievement this run, but, I got them all for next time. Hooray for me and all that. He kind of goes insane, and so I went and fought him while he was basically naked, except for his hat and a loincloth. And yeah, so I killed him. Woo, good for me. But that brings me to a second point. The very astute among you might have noticed something on the screen already. You're not wearing your hat. Okay, well that's true, but that was just for the intro. The even more astute amongst you might have noticed, wait a minute, you have Estus Flask +5. So remember how I fought Dark Sun Gwendolyn? You remember that guy, and I was like, well, the Firekeeper will be mad at us now, so let's not go there. Yeah. See, it goes like this. I had to go see the giant blacksmith in Anor Londo to make my boss weapons, which I'll show you in a second. And I kept going to the Dark Moon Tomb. The problem with Dark Moon Tomb is if you want to get to the blacksmith, you come here, and then you pull this, and you have to wait for this to come down, and then you have to go in and push it back up, and you wait for it to go back up so you can run across the bridge, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that takes a long time. At least it feels like a long time. So it's like, you know what? Well, what if we just go to the Anor Londo bonfire instead and just not fight her? Like, we don't have any problems with her. She just doesn't like us. So I'm like, okay, let's just teleport and we'll just run. Just because she's mad at us doesn't mean we have to engage. Yeah, you'll notice this bonfire isn't on anymore. Yeah, so we teleport here, and she's, chilling out here as she usually does, and she's like, oh, it was you, wasn't it? Or, something like that, where, she's like, she's mad, you killed her boss, whatever. And I'm like, this is fine, I'm just gonna run away, she can't catch me. Now, there's a problem. You might already see it. If you run from the bonfire straight here, like the timing's a little off because I was, doodling around over there, you need to wait for this elevator. Now, that itself was not the problem, because she's running up here, and I'm like, uh-oh. So I still was like, I'm not gonna fight her, not gonna fight her. So she gets over to this area, and I'm like running around here. I'm like, aha, you can't catch me. The elevator starts going, I drop onto it, I'm like, I did it, I escaped. And, logically, that was a sound decision. Like, when we were doing Artorias, there were all the guys that would, like we'd run past them, get on the elevator, and then we'd be fine. She was a little bit more, fervent about her job. Yeah, we'll go with that. So I was about halfway down this elevator when she comes, like, screaming out of the sky going, woo! And just falls and hits this and dies instantly from the fall damage. And I'm like, oh, whoops. Yeah, so we ended up killing her. I mean, she killed her. She jumped. I didn't push her, but, I mean, we were the one that killed her boss, so it's inadvertently our fault. And then it was actually kind of interesting. You had to get on the elevator and like I had to ride it up and down, like mashing the button to pick up her item drop, which was because she's a firekeeper soul. So now we have Estus +5. Them's the breaks. Now, finally, you know what? I can do it here. There's nice lighting right here. Before we go fight Gwyn. You know, I said I was going to make the boss weapons, which is why I ended the stream early last time. So let's take a look at the boss weapons I made, shall we? The Abyss Greatsword. This greatsword belonged to Lord Gwyn's knight Artorias, who fell to the Abyss, swallowed by the dark with its master. This sword is tainted by the Abyss, and now its strength reflects its wielder's humanity. So this is what we got for Artorias' soul. Yeah, I can't wield it properly. There you go. It's Artorias' corrupted sword. You know, this is the one we got from his soul from the DLC. But yeah, that's a pretty cool heavy attack, you know, light attack. I don't know if it's always that slow, or if that's just because I don't have the strength to wield it properly. But yeah, a neat-looking heavy attack. Then we have the Chaos Blade. A curved sword born from the soul of Quelaag, daughter of the Witch of Izalith, who was transformed into a Chaos Demon. This blade inherits only the chaotic nature of Quelaag and has a unique speckled design. Blade wielder erodes along with its opponents. And so I think, like, this is technically speaking like the highest damaging katana, and you're like, oh, you should use that. No, the problem is it's like every time you hit someone, it hits you. It's one of those things, you know, drinking the life of the wielder sort of business. You know, you do that, and heavy attack is, you know, what she did with her like fire sword, where she'd pose and wah. But you know, it looks cool, but I'm not gonna use it. I'm still using my Iaito. Then we have the Moonlight Butterfly Horn. Oh, which boss could this be from? Weapon born from the mystical creature of the Darkroot Garden, the Moonlight Butterfly. The horns of the butterfly, a being created by Seath, are imbued with a pure magic power. That's interesting, because A, that explains, I mean, first of all, like, Seath created the Moonlight Butterfly? Why? I guess in his, like, quest to become immortal. I don't know. But it does explain why are there, like, a couple of Moonlight Butterflies in the Crystal Caves. Just, like, here's this random butterfly moth thing in the forest, and then there's some in these weird, like, ice crystal caves. It's because Seath created them. That's why they're there. Yeah, I can't wield this properly either, but... So it's a spear. It looks really cool. You got that, you know, double helix thing going on. And it's spiky. And so you can stab, or you can really stab. Yeah, the animation's not as cool as some of the other stuff. The Dragon Slayer Spear. Cross spear born from the soul of Ornstein, a dragon slayer guarding Anor Londo Cathedral. Inflicts lightning damage, effective against dragons. Two-handed thrust relies on cross and buries spear deep within a dragon's hide and sends human foes flying. I haven't actually tried this on a person. I could try it on a hollow, I guess, and see what happens. But, you know, regular attack and then a really big stab, where you do a cool little, like, afterwards. Granted, I don't know if it would work because of the whole, like, you're not strong enough to wield this thing, but... Life Hunt Scythe. You know, we know who this is. I've already talked about this specific weapon. Scythe born from the soul of Priscilla, the stark white crossbead trapped inside the painted world of Ariamis. Even the gods feared Priscilla's life hunt ability, and in the hands of a mortal, its power will turn upon its wielder. So what that means is... Yeah, I might use this for New Game Plus anyways, even with the downside, just because it's a scythe. It looks cool. Anyways, you know, there's that. There's the heavy. Hooray, hooray. What it does is it inflicts, like, massive amounts of bleed on people, but it also inflicts massive amounts of bleed on you. But, you know, there's an asterisk. It also hurts you. But then an asterisk to that, I think Chester's outfit, you know, that we're wearing besides the mask is actually good against bleed. Like, it resists it. So, like, maybe, I don't know how, like, armor works against self-inflicted bleed, but anyways, the Dragon Bone Fist, a weapon from the soul of the Iron Golem, guardian of Sen's fortress, who repelled countless heroes who sought Anor Londo. The gods fused the power of the soul with the great bones of the dragons, forming an appropriate core for the giant golem. Yeah, it's basically just like Hulk hand. And unfortunately, like, I don't have the strength to wield it, and you can't, like, double hand this. Like, you can't just shove both your hands inside the one, but... So I don't know if this is what it's supposed to do. This really slow wind-up. I assume that's because I'm too weak. Who knows? Maybe it's that slow anyways. It is the Iron Golem. So. Dark Moon Bow. Bow born from the soul of Dark Sun Gwendolyn, Dark Moon deity, who watches over the abandoned city of gods and Orlando. This golden bow is imbued with powerful magic, is most impressive with moonlight arrows. And I can't wield this effectively, I think because of the... Oh yeah, the faith requirement. That's why I can't wield that one effectively. I'm glad you like it. So yeah, this one... Yeah, I mean, it's a bow. I didn't have arrows equipped. I guess I could try shooting it. I mean, you can't, you know, it doesn't have like light and heavy animations the way the bow does, or the way the non-bow weapons do, but you know, it looks neat. Presumably that's what Gwendolyn was using against you. That's our regular stuff. And then finally, the Great Shield of Artorias. And you're like, wait, you already had a weapon from Artorias. The Abyss Sword was Artorias' soul from the DLC. I will tell you in just a second, chat. Let me finish this up first, and then... the Great Shield of Artorias. This is from Sif. This is the one of the ones that has 3 different variants for his soul. Shield born from the soul of the Great Grey Wolf, Sif, guardian of the grave of the Abyss Walker Knight Artorias, boasts consistent defense and divine protection against various status effects. Apparently, this is one of the best shields because of the... I don't know, shield stuff. I mean, I can't wield it, but, you know, looks cool. Looks neat. All right. So that takes care of all of that. Which means... I believe it's time to go fight Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. I've farmed up all the things this time, made boss soul weapons. We did the DLC, we are ready to go. Tramped.
I am pleased to... Is it something urgent?
Oh, it's something urgent, all right.
Very well. Then stay still.
Yeah, one more mouth ride for the road. No. Come on, man. Like, I know you don't have arms because you're a primordial serpent with a little bit of llama mixed in. Like, couldn't you just use, like, your face feelers to just, like, hold me? Couldn't I just, like, hold on to your head? Like, do you really have to put me in your mouth? He's like, no, I just like to do it. And here we are, Firelink Altar. Let's offer our final Lord Soul. Well, thank you for the follow. Puzzle session. Get a YouTube thumbnail out. Oh, that fire's big. Like, that's an impressively bright door for underground. Well, I guess we are fighting, like, the Lord of Cinder, so that makes sense. There, I could get a YouTube thumbnail from that one. All right. Whoa. Oh. Hi. Are you... Okay, you're not targetable. You're just ghosts. Okay. You're phantoms. I just thought we were gonna go straight into the boss fight against Gwyn, but apparently not. We have a weird staircase though. Oh, this Kiln of the First Flame. Oh, I see. All right, well, it is spooky. You're not wrong, Chad. Also, what the hell happened here? I mean, like, yes, obviously this is presumably where they fought all the dragons way back when, but it's like, okay, all of these things make it look like there was a massive explosion that way that went boom, and have all these things leading over, but at the same time, like, Oh, there's enemies. I don't like enemies. Go away, enemy. Ow. Well, I mean, I hit him too, so I guess that's okay, but... Okay, didn't hit him too. That's less okay. Okay, I'm dead. Huh. Okay, well, color me surprised. I thought we were just going in for the boss fight. Oh, that's nice that they give you 20 Estus, though, from all the Lord Souls. Okay, I mean, I guess this makes sense. That... Because, yeah, like, the Black Knights, I guess, were, like, Gwyn's army. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense that there's, like, his soldiers are guarding the final fight, but... Come on, man. Couldn't we just go and beat the dude? We really got to go through all this. I mean, I might be able to run past him, but, like, until I know where I'm going. Ow, man. They... no. Let's keep you over there. All right, you're pretty slow. Now, Black Knight Sword, that's cool. Theoretically, they'll stay dead? Because all the other Black Knights we fought, like, when they died, they died. I mean, that'd make the run up to the boss a lot easier. On the other hand, this is Dark Souls, so part of me is like, what, you want it easy? This is, yeah, exactly. Part of me is like, well, okay, like, the other Black Knights stayed dead, so they'll stay dead. But then I'm like, well, the demon ruins, though. Like, when you start finding, like, Capra demons as just regular enemies, they don't stay dead. They come back. Like, this is the final area, so... I'm hoping they stay dead. I'm not counting on them to stay dead. No. Yeah, red Titanite chunk. That's cool. Okay. Hello. Gwyn Lord of Cinder. I have a delivery for you. It is called a sword in your face. I hope you don't mind. Ooh. This place looks awesome. I don't want to fall. Another... You know what? Hey, you. How about you get off of the rickety platform? Yeah. I guess it's not rickety. I mean, it looks pretty solid. It's just... I don't want to fight on it. No, 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 no. Nope. Back it up. Look, I've already used one of my Estus flasks. Huh. You know, and I had, like, so here's the thing. I'm assuming that fighting Gwyn won't be super hard, relatively speaking. On the one hand, it's like, yes, it's the final boss of Dark Souls. But, like, we did the DLC. I mean, is Gwyn really going to be harder than, like, Manus or Artorias? Because I cannot imagine him taking as long as Calamite. Like, Calamite took a long time. I just finished doing my editing for that fight. And now here I am walking. Oh, right. A full set of Black Knight armor. Sure. But yeah, here I am, like, walking into this fight. And I'm like, oh, this won't be so hard. And now I'm like, I'm kind of spooky. Spooky dooky. I'm afeared. Okay. Down or uh-oh. Down or not down. Those are your options. I assume that's Gwyn. But no, because there's the boss door. So who are you with a flaming sword? Is I mean, yes, Gwyn is the Lord of Cinder, but there's that guy who's like, I'm Black Knight Dave, Lieutenant Commander of Cinder. Alright. Well, alright, these guys aren't so... Like, yeah, the first time I ran into a Black Knight, man, that dude wrecked me way back in Undead Bird. Well, I mean, I guess the first time I ran into one here, he wrecked me too. But they're not so scary. You just put on a spear, and they're really slow. I made that fight way... Uh-oh, you've got a spear. We're on even footing. I was gonna say, it's not nearly as hard as I was making it out to be. It's... Wait for them to do their massive wind-up attack, and then you poke them. And then you repeat. Yeah, you. See, that's how you use a spear. You want to give me your spear, too? Yeah, you do. Oh. Okay, so that is Gwyn in there, then. It seemed weird that there'd be, like, a random Black Knight with a fire sword. But then I was like, oh, well, I see the boss door, though, so I guess it must just be a random guy. No, 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 we're approaching from this side. I get it. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. Excuse me, Gwyn Lord of Cinder. Ooh, I like the music. Wow. You got a flying leap. Just trying to get a feel for your moves before I start moving in on the offensive. All right. It's gonna be more than that. But the problem is I want to pause it to talk about one thing, but I can't because, you know, boss fight. Wait, do you have a big mustache? I can't tell if that's part of your armor or a mustache. Ooh, he does that, though. But not that attack specifically. I mean, he's one of those guys where he's like, if you mess up, you don't have time to heal. All right, let's back up for as best as we can. Rocking the way. Rocking the way. No. Ow. That hurts, dude. Give up. Ow. No. Run away. Okay, done. Wait, I want to look at your face. Is that a mustache or just part of your armor? Because if that's a mustache, that's a really cool mustache. It's all like, ooh. Huh. All right. Okay, so I guess I said I wanted time to talk and I couldn't pause it. Well, now I've got time to talk. The first thing. I'm going to try and beat him by myself because of course I am. That's how I've mainly been doing this game. But if this does end up taking a long time... No, they're back. I'm not surprised. I'm just disappointed. Anyways, yeah. And you're like, what are you talking about doing it yourself? You're going to do multiplayer on... No, I'm not doing online, but you can actually... Like, we went to all the trouble of saving Solaire, remember? We did the whole... Getting the sunlight maggot so he didn't find it and go crazy. You can get Solaire to help you in this fight. You can summon him. Now, I don't really want to because, you know, that seems like a... You know, like, it's here, it's like, Dark Souls the first time, and then, like, yeah... At least from my first impression, yeah, he doesn't look like he's gonna be hard like Calamite, but it's still sort of a letdown bit. And you use a summon on the final fight. On the other hand, part of me wants to do it just because, like, we went through the trouble of saving him. It's like, you know, we should let him help. But I'll try not to. I'll try and do it solo. That said, apparently, I don't know if this is fan just theory or if this is actual lore. But I guess in Solaire's universe, he's the one that defeats Gwyn and links the fire. Again, I don't know if that's official theory or just, like, common held fan stuff. But I mean, you know, it makes sense because like all the like phantoms and all that stuff. You know, the whole reason is because, you know, in the land of the undead, things are all kind of wishy-washy. You know, like people are from different times, different space, all that stuff, and that's the justification for summoning, you know, people to help. So, you know, it kind of makes it like that in Solaire's, like, sure, in this universe, we're the one to defeat Gwyn, but in Solaire's universe, he's the one to defeat Gwyn. You know, he finally gets his son by linking the first fire. Isn't that such a nice and touching story? Sort of. I mean, like, nothing's really nice and warm and touching about Dark Souls universe. I mean, I guess it's warm because it's a fire. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, there is no feel-good story in Dark Souls. It's like when we did stuff with Sigmire, like, you know, the feel-good story is that his daughter killed him and got closure. It's like, well, I mean, I guess, like, he felt useful because he helped you. And, you know, he got to go on one last adventure, and then his daughter comes and smites him after he goes hollow, and, like, that's the best feel-good you got. Yeah, bittersweet. That's a good way to do it. Bittersweet is the best you get in this game. I don't even know how I got on this. It's something to do with Solaire. Oh, linking the fire. Right. Linking the fire is... like, sure, you keep the Age of Fire going, but that's not necessarily the best thing. That's the best you're going to get in this game. All right. Traverse the white light. Take 2. Hi. Ow. 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 It is a mustache, I think. I'm not liking the way this fight looks like it's gonna be. For the same reason that I hate the Artorias fight. Now, on my way over again, I'll talk about... So, my first thoughts on this fight. On the one hand, I was gonna say, before I got very quickly killed last time, I really like that the music is just this very... You know, as chat said, bittersweet. Like, it's this beautiful, sad melody for the final boss fight. You know, it's not... some epic, like, da da da, you are fighting Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, ba 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 ba. Like, it's just this very, like, here he is, this is, like, the Great Lord is now this, and you have to kill him to keep this going, and it's just, it's beautiful but sad, the cycle of the Age of Fire type of thing. So, like, that's neat, I do like that. What I don't like, though, like, this boss fight is encapsulating a lot of what I don't like about some of the designs in this game. A, running back to the boss. Like, okay, this guy, I guess you do have to fight. Can I get past you? I can. Hee. But yeah, just like making you go on such a long trek to the boss. And they're like, whoa, but you have to like keep up your strength when fighting these. Like, no, I don't. Look, I can just run past them. It's not a matter of like, keep your strength up for the fight. It's just wasting my time. But B, I was gonna say, the fight itself seems like the type of fight I don't like. The reason I don't like Artorias is it punishes you. Like, if you make a mistake, there's no room for healing. You have no chance for, like, okay, I messed up, let's try again type of thing. The way that even, you know, as I said, like, harder boss fights, like Calamite, might be harder overall, but they let you heal. And so it's like, okay, if you mess up, sure, you know, take a swig of Estus, try again. Whereas this one, it's just so, like, yeah, you messed up, well, have fun running back from the bonfire to try again. And I do not like that design. Like, again, I keep saying Calamite because that one was recent, but yeah, it's okay to be hard. I'm not complaining like, the boss fight hurts me. Like, yeah, Calamite also hurt a lot. But at no point was like, this bullshit fight again. Like, it was fine. Whereas here, I'm like, okay, so I misread his timing, and now, well, this. Now I'm hurt, and I can't do anything about it. And that's the type of design in this game I don't like. You know, and again, like, and I'm saying this, like, this is not even, like, Artorias was harder than this, because this guy is not as fast-paced. So it's not even like, oh, this is so hard and I'm type of thing, because so far as I can tell, I mean, unless he gets real crazy at, like, half health or something, it's not, you know, it's not me complaining because I think it's unfair. It's me complaining because it's not fun. Which is too bad for the final fight of the game. Because there's so many good boss fights in this game. Where I'm like, yeah, that was fun, and I feel like accomplishment in having doing this. Whereas this is just like, well, my accomplishment is I put up with this guy. Oh, I suppose it might help if I put on other rings, too. Yeah, I mean, I could put on the Havel Havel ring again, if I need to. I'll try just with the Chloranthy for now, but... Alright, take, what, 4? I think? I was gonna say, take 3! Nah, I think we've done 3 of them. I mean, that attack looks cool. The dude's design is nice. It's, oh... Well, let's see what he does. Oh, just explodes you with fire. That's fine. I thought you were gonna, like, impale me or something. You were just blowing me up. It's cool. No, no, no. You don't need to do that. In fact, I don't know that I want to, target. Keep this between us. There you go, do an attack. Stop. Actually, I realized another reason about the not letting you heal. I think one of the other reasons why I don't like it is because it changes the type of game you're playing to something that I did not sign up for. Like, so yeah, like Dark Souls is a game about, like, oh yeah, like, you know, bosses they're not unfair, you just need to get good. I mean, that's, like, you know, where the get good comes from, doing Dark Souls stuff. But part of that design, overall, not in, like, this fight, but you have Estus. You have healing items that you can use to increase and stuff. And one of the whole things about this game is, like, okay, you get hit. You can heal so that you can keep looking at the boss and like, because, you know, the whole thing is, like, get good is you practice against the boss, you learn from your mistakes. Like, all right, when they do this, it means they're doing this. Like, I know that if they do this attack, they're going to follow it up with, you know, 1 or 2, so I have to, you know, not assume that they're gonna follow it up with 3. And, you know, it was good design. The problem then, in fights like this where it doesn't let you heal, is, well, first of all, it's, again, wasting your time. Like, yeah, again, along with this, as chat pointed out, the long time back to get there, every time. You go in, you see, like, a couple moves, then you die, and then you spend all this time running back. Like, it wouldn't be so bad if there was a bonfire right outside, because then it's like, okay, you go in, and then you can learn. Whereas this time, it's like you can spend, you know, 1 minute in the fight, and then, you know, 2 minutes getting back, so you're not spending time learning. And so they're kind of taking that learning away from you when they don't let you heal, and it becomes more of a, like, can you do this? You know, because, like, yeah, a lot of people do, like, I'm gonna play Dark Souls completely naked, never getting hit once. And, like, that's fine. Like, if that's the type of challenge you want to do, go for it. But I don't want to do that type of challenge. I'm fine with getting hit, healing, but they kind of make it into, like, you have to do this fight without getting hit. Now, you know, it's not as strict as, you know, like, you know, it's no hit. Like, oh, I have to start my run over, I got hit right there. But, you know, as a general thing, they change it to, you know, it's like, you have to do this fight, you know, flawless asterisk. Flawlessly asterisk. And it's like, that's not what I was signing up for. What I was signing up for was not doing things flawlessly, but learning from my mistakes and doing better, but not necessarily perfect. Whereas the design, like this, you have to do not necessarily perfect, as the fact, I got hit, I'm still fighting. But, you know, this is not the type of fight that I was doing for the rest of the game. Why are you making me do it now? I guess that's kind of the... And I don't know, maybe it's like, because we want it to be a really cool end boss fight, but like, it doesn't make it fun, it makes it annoying. And I'm not like, woo, this fun, hard fight, the way it is with Calamite. Where it's like, this is a hard fight, but yeah, I'm into this, and this is just like, oh, yep, okay, well, have fun running back again. Oh, would it be better if he was, would it be better or worse if he was Gwyn, Lord of Cinder? I mean, he you know, he fights with candor, I think. He's just like, hi, I'm Lord Gwyn, I'm gonna stab you with a fire sword. Like, I'm not much sure how much more candor you can get than that. He's pretty upfront about everything. Like, I'm Lord Gwyn, I'm gonna hit you. The end. Like, there's no, like, secret boss special powers or anything. It's just, hit you, hit you. Would he be better or worse as Gwyn, Lord of Carpets? That depends. Like, if it just meant that his boss arena had more carpets in it, I think that would be better. If it meant that, like, instead of the fight as it is now, he, like, jumped and flew around on a bunch of, like, magic flying carpets that you had to, like, you know, watch zoop all over the arena and, you know, pay attention, and that I think would be worse. Okay, I don't have time for a heavy. Carpets are flammable. Well, I mean, right, carpets are flammable, but if he was Gwyn, Lord of Carpets, he wouldn't be using the fire. Unless you're saying that I could set them on fire, but I doubt that. If he's, like, way up high, like, the only fire I guess there are fire arrows. But the only fire I have on with me is my magic, and I'd just be like, and the fireball would just be like, and fall back down and hit me in the face. It's like the carpet's being flammable. He's not going to be using fire, so that doesn't help. And then I'd have to use fire arrows. Which, I don't remember how expensive. They're probably not that expensive, but... How about Gwyn, Lord of Carapace? I mean, then he'd just be a bug. So then you're just playing Hollow Knight. Which is... okay, I can't show you right now. I'm actually wearing my Hollow Knight shirt right now. I'm wearing my Hornet shirt. I mean, I do think I like Hollow Knight better than this game, but, you know, it's one of those things like, okay, but it's a little unfair to say, because if there was never a Dark Souls 1, there wouldn't have been a Hollow Knight. Or, you know, it'd be very different. Like, sure, you could still have the Metroidvania aspect of it, but you wouldn't have the, like, get good fighting style of it. And so it's like, it's hard to tell, like, well, you know, how do you compare a game that's based off of something that came first? Because you can say, sure, I like the later one later, or that came out later, but without the first one, you wouldn't have the second one. So it's not necessarily better or worse. But yeah, I think Gwyn, Lord of Carapace is just Hollow Knight. And I'll show off my Hollow Knight shirt when we're done with this fight. Yes, but think of a Hollow Knight creature designed to fit into Dark Souls. There already are. There's already bug enemies in this game. I mean, like, Sir Katarina is already a Hollow Knight character design. He's Sir He is just a pill bug that looks like a human in this game. Like, what more do you want? There's already Hollow Knight characters in here. Okay. Hornet. Yeah, just do that attack forever, man. That's easy dodge. Okay, that time I did hit dodge. The third one, not the fourth one. Nah, he hit me fine on that one. We're gonna time it. What do I need? I need clock, stopwatch. Go. I don't know. You can't stop science. We're gonna find out the time for this. Oh, he hit me. It won't be correct. That said, it still will be a... I mean, yeah. It's not perfect because I did get hit that time, but there's no comparison. That is much longer than Artorias or Calamite. 1 minute, 42 seconds. So we'll say, it will be generous and say 1 minute 40 if I hadn't gotten hit. Way longer to get to the boss fight. Like almost a full minute more than Callum, which was 59. Yeah, I didn't think it could be done, but Gwyn, Lord of Cinder, you have done it. You have taken the cake at being the most annoying boss fight. Because it takes almost 2 minutes just to, like, not fighting, not getting hit. I mean, I did get hit, but, you know, we've factored that in. And we factored that in pretty fairly generously, because it probably wasn't 2 seconds, but... almost 2 minutes of just holding the run button before we can start fighting again. For shame, From Software, for shame. 2, 3. Huh, I might need to actually put on Capple's ring. I literally could not roll fast enough. Gwyn, I am your father. Ow. No, I'm your father. No. Okay, let's... No. Say, Gwyn is not impressed with the things I said. Well, yes, but he's a grumpy grandpa. I think the only thing he's impressed by is fire. Except he's not, actually, because if I cast fire, I doubt he would be that impressed. You know what this feels like? This feels like my DBD stream when I'm in a loading thing. And it's like, okay, here's the same loading tooltip that I've read 500 times before. Can I think of another new joke to make while I see the same thing again? Like, hey, look, here's these stairs. Woo! Stairs, am I right? Look at that guy taking a swing at me. Haha, I dodged him. What a chump. And like, yeah, the first time it's like, haha, what a chump. And then like the second time you're like, yeah, we already know he's a chump. And then by the 10th time, like, you just don't even want to comment that he's a chump because you're just like, I'm the chump for walking by him for the 10th time. Gwyn, Lord of Chumps. What's that? Okay, he did a sideward swipe, but then ended up stabbing me. I call shenanigans. No. Neon. On the road again. Gonna go fight Gwyn. Bad touch. All right, I'm gonna try putting it on the ring. Yeah, and it... Okay, it's time that we try putting on this ring. And A, B, 2, whatever, you know, the first thing is we're gonna put on that ring, but the second thing is oftentimes on the internet, you get people who can't admit they're wrong. They make an argument and they stick to it no matter the facts, no matter other people's opinions, experiences. You've seen it. You all know it. The people are like, nope, my way or the highway. And I'm here to tell you, friends, I was wrong. I am man enough to admit that I was wrong. I thought this was going to be a very quick stream and we'd be done with Gwyn pretty quickly. But no, Gwyn is actually the most bullshit fight of this whole game, with the longest wind-up of this whole game. And, you know, the whole we're going to be done with this soon, I can admit that I was wrong in my previous assumption that we'd be done with this. Gwyn is showing me that, you know, here I'm like, no, nothing could be more bullshit than Notorious. I was mistaken. Gwyn, I'm sorry, you have presented evidence to the contrary, and I'm willing to change my opinion and stance. What? Oh, come on. Well, hopefully the fast dodge will make up for that. Did not. Yeah, okay, you're not allowed to hit me through the boss, but yeah, go ahead, throw your tantrum. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to that guy. He hit me through the boss door. That has never happened before. All right, no stabbing me through the ass this time. Or in the ass through the door. Nah, I don't like you there. We need more. Yeah, that attack, like, he stabs forward, but then turns and the stab still connects. I mean, I guess it makes sense, his sword's on fire, but... yeah, that move is bullshit. Because he clearly did not stab at me. No. Okay, I'm doing it anyways. I'm doing it anyways. So we actually don't want to get far away from him. That's when things get, well, okay, things get bad no matter where you are. Trigger bleed or something? Why did he stagger? Also, what was that camera angle? Ugh, sucking ass, you. You're still a cool look. I like your design, but your fight sucks. Did it without Solaire at least, so that's fine. Okay. I mean, I'll talk about more about why I don't. I mean, I already talked about it, but I'll do it some more later. I will just say right now, though. Nah, actually, I'll talk about it later. We'll do it when I get 70,000 souls. Cool. So now we have two options. We can link the fire and become, you know, keep the Age of Fire going. Or we just dip on out of here and we're just like, nah, bye. Canonically, the fire is linked, so that's what we'll do for this playthrough. I mean, you know, for one of my New Game Plus, sure, I'll just walk out for the other achievement, but you know, canonically speaking, you know, there's Dark Souls 1, and then there's Dark Souls 2, and then there's Dark Souls 3, so canonically, at least in Dark Souls 1 and 2, you link the fire and keep the Age of Fire going. That's why there's sequels. Take this off for the scene. Achievement unlocked. To link the fire. Okay. While it is doing the credits, you know, it's pretty music, but I'm gonna talk over it. Hope you don't mind. So, that's Dark Souls 1 Remastered. It's a shame that it ended with that fight in... I mean, but you know, maybe that's the true Dark Souls experience. Like, I'm in for this great game, and then you're just like, ugh, that fight, ugh. It ends with a sour taste in your mouth, but isn't that the way Dark Souls is? We were talking about there's nothing but bittersweet stuff in Dark Souls, you know? In a meta level, the game ending like that, ending bittersweet, that you have this great game with this annoying end fight. That's the meta Dark Souls experience. You too are now part of Dark Souls. Even if you're not, you know, in the Age of Fire, you too can be like, well, things are great, but they also suck. The end. Anyway. So what are my thoughts on... Well, you know, before I talk... What are my thoughts on Dark Souls? Oh, I've got some thoughts on Dark Souls. But my first thought is, now that I've beat every boss, you know, I've fought everybody, including Dark Soul Gwendolyn and Priscilla, did the optional fights, I did the DLC. Of all the boss fights, I was thinking, okay, so at the end, looking back, hindsight, what's favorite and least favorite? My favorite boss fight, I think. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at all the videos and stuff, because I don't even know if I remember all the boss fights, but I think... And I guess, if I don't remember something, clearly it's not my favorite. My favorite boss fight is Quelaag. There we go. No more wishy-washy, like, well, what if there was another boss I liked more? If I liked it more, then I wouldn't have forgotten. I remembered the Quelaag fight. And, like, yes, sure, it helps that it's like, here's a boss fight, and like it starts with like, here's super sexy topless lady, and then the other part's like, oh, and now here's very horrid, it's not just like a spider, it's like a flea, ugly, nasty spider. And so, you know, we talked about it during that stream, but I do like the sort of, what I call like the Final Fantasy design of it, where it's like, take something really hot and something really ugly and mash them together, and it just makes for fun boss design. But besides the design of the boss, the fight itself, I think, was the perfect, like, the epitome of good Dark Souls fight. Because Quelaag was the first fight that I actually had a lot of trouble with. Like, all the fights up until that point, it basically took me 3 tries to do. It's like, you know, forgetting what his name is, whatever, the demon on the bridge, you know, the first boss, like the Asylum Keeper took us like 3 or 4 tries. The boss on the bridge took us 3 tries. The Capra Demon, 3 tries. I mean, 1 when we actually got in. Like the first 2 tries were just getting into the fight and not getting pinned by the dogs and the Capra Demon. But still, 3 overall. Everything was basically like, you know, 3-ish tries. The Gaping Dragon, you know, 3 or 4 tries. And Quelaag was really hard at the time. But at the same time, like, it was a fun fight. And I think goes to show just how, like, the best design in a fight, because yes, it's a lot harder than anything you've done, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you know, this fight isn't about dealing with random bullshit or like luck or weird stuff. It's just like, here's a boss, you learn her patterns, and then you get better at it. And, which I'll come to talk about, you know, I was complaining with Gwyn, but it was a fast-paced fight where, you know, it felt like this isn't just like you fighting a random dude. Like, yes, this is a boss fight, but it's not so fast-paced that you couldn't back up and heal, which helps with the whole learning thing. Like, if the whole thing is like, get good, well, it's all right. She does this attack, and you're like, okay, I'm safe here, and then whomp, oh, no, I'm not. And I'm just seeing, is there anything else happening now post-credits? Just go to the menu, go straight to... Okay, go straight into New Game Plus with us in our cell. Great. That's fine. Yeah, so it's fast-paced, but like...
Yes, indeed.
What?
The dark sign brands the undead.
Oh, is this how the game started? I don't remember the dialogue.
And in this land...
Yeah, I guess I do sort of vaguely remember this. I'll get back to my thoughts in a second.
The undead are corralled
and led to the north. Like, and who are you, lady? Like, narrator? Like, I'm the narrator witch. You know me. You saw me all the time in your travels. Like, I don't recall seeing you. I was there the whole time. I guess you just didn't look proper. Yeah.
This is your fate.
I look a lot better this time. First time I like wake up naked and hollow. I mean, I'm hollow, but at least I'm wearing nice clothes. Yeah. Get up. Okay, well, she's not talking anymore, so. I was talking about be like, oh, right, so like you get hit, and you're like, you. We done here? I think we're done. Final. I just wanted to say, you get hit by Quelaag, and you have time to heal afterwards. So if you don't, like, if you're not, you know, you haven't gotten good yet, you're still in the getting phase. If you misread an attack, it's okay. The fight's not over. The fight's just like, okay, you misread an attack, here. You know. But yeah, summary. Quelaag, good fight. You know, it's hard. You can't just run at it a swinging, but if you misread something, it's okay because you have time to heal. So, okay, best fight was that. The worst fight in the game. Up until now, I was convinced I was going to say Artorias for basically being the opposite of that fight. Gwyn might take the cake. It's too soon for me to have to, you know, sit and think and process my emotions and all blah, blah, blah. But I dislike them for both of the same reason. Gwyn definitely had the worst. What am I trying to say? It's okay. So the reason I don't like the fight, and I talked about this during Gwyn, but I'm stopping now so I can focus. The problem is, like, yes, it's also fast paced and feels like a boss fight. You're like, so you like it then? No. The problem is the whole, like, you are punished for making any mistake. Like, yes, you make a mistake, you're punished. No. The punishment is you get hurt. That's the mistake. But it doesn't really let you heal in either of the fights. And again, like, if you want to play the game where it's like, I'm going to play never getting hit once, good for you, but the rest of the game isn't designed, or like, this isn't designed as a never get hit game. They give you health, they give you armor, like, they make the game so that you are allowed to take hits. So these bosses stand out where they're like, nope, no time to heal. And like, yes, there is some, like, it's not like there is literally no time to heal, because obviously I healed. And you're like, you healed him. But it's not, look at that fight compared to any other fight, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The fight isn't designed for you to heal after you make a mistake, which doesn't really fit with the rest of the game of, like, you know, get good and, you know, okay, you misread a boss, well, heal, try again, okay, you ran out of heals, now you go back to the bonfire, make your way back, do another attempt, now you're a little bit better, so maybe you dodge some stuff, you heal less, you get better, you beat the boss, and you're like, yeah, I did it. And those ones, it's not designed like that. It's just, it's not a fun fight, it's a chore. And again, it's like, oh, so you're just salty that because it's so hard. It isn't that hard. Like, yeah, that took, what, 1.5 hours? We'll take off, what, 10 minutes for the beginning when I was talking about stuff. Gwyn took me less time than Artorias. I'm just saying, I don't know which one I dislike more, but Gwyn was obviously not the hardest fight. Calamite, the Black Dragon Calamite optional boss from the DLC, was clearly, by a wide margin, the hardest boss of the game. That's the third thing I was talking about. Like, what was the hardest boss? Calamite. No question. Calamite, though, is not my least favorite boss. So if you're just like, oh, you don't like a boss because it's hard? No. I like the fight against Calamite. Now, as I said, like, when I was doing my editing, I saw, like, it's not the most fun I've had playing Dark Souls. Like, it was a little harder than I would have liked it to be, but that was one of the ones where it did sort of have the, like, you get good, and then you beat the boss, and you feel a sense of accomplishment. You're just like, I did this. I fought Calamite. I beat Calamite. I learned. I practiced. I got better. I did it. I am proud of myself for this accomplishment. And Artorias and Gwyn don't have that. They're just like, I put up with this bullshit long enough to finally win. Like, I learned what to do at the start of the fight. It's just dodge a lot. That's all you had to do. So yeah, that's my take on the bosses. And you're like, okay, we kind of got that already. What else did you want to talk about? I need to put Don't need that ring with me. Finally, I made a list. I'm making a list and I'm checking it twice. Gonna find out who's hollow or not. No. All right. Finally, I get, I'm gonna just talk about this before continuing on because I have my thing to look at here. And then afterwards, we'll just start playing the game again. I won't try and comment while I'm going because we saw how well that went with my talking about Queelag and my StarTrain train of thought just kind of going blah, 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 off the rails. What are the positives of this game? First of all, I like this game. I like Dark Souls. I've never played it before. It was fun. And frankly, if it was up to me, I'd just go straight into Dark Souls 2 or Bloodborne. It is up to you. This is your stream. But yeah, variety stream, I promised I'd mix things up, so I'll do something else. For a while, at least. But it's like, yeah, I like the game. I like the design. It's a fun environment. This whole, like, fantasy thing with a little, yeah, we got a little bit of Bloodborne mixed in with Chester, but I like the lore, the sort of I guess what I'd call a Twilight aspect to this game, that it's, it's not dark, it's not some black horror game like in the night, but it's not a happy sunlight game either. It's a dwindling light, which, mimics the Age of Fire coming to an end, you gotta fix it, but just sort of as a feel, it's sort of got that bittersweet feel to the whole thing. So it's a fun game, fun design. I like a lot of the creatures, I like a lot of the stuff. That said, there are some problems with it. And so I've put in order my gripes from smallest to biggest. Because everybody likes to hear people complain, so I'm gonna try it. From smallest to largest, the tiniest complaint that has really no bearing on anything, but I did notice it a couple of times while I was just farming off stream. Here we go. No audio slider for all of it. Music, sounds, voice. Sure, you don't want music. So, like, yeah, it's nice that they have these instead of just one thing, but, like, why can't we just have a master audio? So if you want to mute everything, you can just go whoop and then turn it back. Because right now, when I'm farming off stream and I'm just, like, listening to music and stuff, I'm like, okay, turn that down, turn that down, turn that down. Do. Okay, time for stream again. Turn that up, turn that up, turn that. It's not hard. It's not, this isn't even a first world problem. This is like the firstiest of worldliest problems. So it's a very minor thing, but I do hope in future games they have a master audio slider. All right, the next thing. Status effects are handled a little weirdly. Yes, I figured it out. But, like, why isn't there just a, like... you look at... Here, whoops. The wrong thing. It's like you look at this... And, like, why can't they just... Like, I mean, so... Can't actually show you where it is. Look. So, here we go. Got my mouse on my screen now. So, like, they show you this stuff. Like, okay, what's your poise? This is bleed. This is poison. This is curse. Okay, so, like, they tell you, like, here's what the icons are. It's not necessarily intuitive to be like, well, you have to open your menu, check this screen, look over here. But for instance, this, because I don't have any toxic resist on, it doesn't show you that toxic is this, but a different color. The other problem with it is it not showing enemies status. And, like, yeah, that's a thing a lot of games have. Like, it's not going to show you how poisoned the enemy is or whatever. Or, in games where it does, it's just either they're poisoned or they're not. They don't have, like, a build-up. But it's kind of annoying for because, like, okay, I use a katana. I hit someone. Did that cause bleed or not? I have no way of knowing unless I hit them a lot in rapid succession. And then, like, they either lose the bleed chunk or they don't. So this is kind of like trial and error. Because, like, if you want to do something, is this guy... You saw me use poison arrows before. It's like, is this dude weak to poison? Shoot him a few times. Like, oh, guess not. But I don't know that that's for sure. Maybe I just didn't shoot him fast enough. So it's a little annoying that there's no indication. At least, like, if they're immune. Like, if they're immune to poison, couldn't it just be like, no effect? It just says that. Yeah, it's a little game-breaking immersion, but, we see damage numbers, so why not? It'd just be a nice little thing to give the players. Who knows if they do that in future games or not. Because, again, it's doable. It's not, like, a make-or-break thing. Moving up from small to medium grievances. My medium grievance is enemies ignoring the physics of the world the way you can't. And this is not just a From Software thing. Like, this is not only like, oh, Dark Souls. Lots of games have this problem. But if I attack right here, I hit the wall and I go bonk, and my spear comes back. You know, things like my immediate thought is the Titanite demon that was in the bottom of Sen's fortress that we spent like an hour fighting. It could attack right here, and its spear would just go all the way through this pillar. It just goes through the wall and hits you. And that's, like, unfair bullshit, right? Because, like, the whole point of Dark Souls is, like, it's getting good. You, like, the game isn't bullshit. You just have to react. But that is bullshit, right? Like, the fact that the enemies aren't... Like, you can't hit through the wall, but the enemies can. And not because it's, like, some special magic or... Like, their spear can go through the wall and yours can't. Again, that's not just a From Software thing, but it does sort of... It doesn't mesh with the rest of the game where, like, everything's fair. If you die, it's your fault. But that's not really true, is it? Because it's not fair if the enemy is just, like, swinging and they don't hit the wall and also go bonk. They swing and go through the wall. Yeah, other games have this problem too. It's not just From Software, but I do hope the physics get better in the future games. And then what I added to my list, in that fight with Gwyn, and I said, I'm like, oh, that attack was bullshit. Auto-targeting things. Which, like, yes, the enemies are going to attack where you are. What? You don't want them to target you? No. It's like when he did his stab, you notice, like, he does a slash to the side, and I'd roll under it. And then he does a stab forward, and I'd roll under it. This permanent marker is his flaming sword. And it's kind of bullshit the way he does a slash like this, and I'm like, wee, I roll under it, and it's fine. And now I'm over here, and he's like, okay, stab forward, and I roll further, and the sword just goes whoomp and stabs. And this happened in a couple places that I probably was like, that's bullshit. But there are some cases of this game where they, like, do a forward attack, and you dodge, and the game just kind of goes, and changes it. Like, not that they're slashing sideways, you know, not like, oh, I stabbed, I missed, swipe. Because that would make sense. It's just like they do it and then like the whole character model just kind of goes rotate to where you are. And that's bullshit as like someone dodging. Like, sure, if you're playing like a strength build and you're just like, block it, you wouldn't even notice it's a thing. But they're very few and far between, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's constantly happening. But when it does, again, it stands out. Like, this game isn't like, doesn't have bullshit stuff going on. You just need to learn to get better. Like, I did get better. I dodged the attack, and the game just auto-corrected itself so that I didn't. That is bullshit. That's not good design. Like, if I dodge the attack, I dodge it. Asterisk, I thought of this while fighting Gwyn. Gwyn's makes sense because his sword's on fire. Like, yeah, if he moves his sword over to you, yes, it's gonna hurt because it catches you on fire. But it's still a stupid thing to do. Because, like, you know, if I swipe my sword, it'll hurt. But if I just kind of, like, tap it into you sideways, it's not going to hurt. Like this katana, if you just touch the edge of it, it's not going to hurt you. So when an enemy does it, not good. Luckily, as I said, they're very few and far between when it happens, but it does happen. Finally, going from the medium stuff to the big problems. There are two big problems I have with this game. Which is why, like, yeah, I'm going to do New Game Plus stuff, get all my achievements, but why I probably will not play this game in the future. Like, because once I've done it, I'm like, okay, I'm done it. Like, I'm not going to come back. Like, good old Dark Souls. The two big problems. One of them, I'm hoping is fixed for future games. The other one probably is not. Because one is a design choice and one is a hardware choice. The one that I'm hoping is fixed for, like, Dark Souls 2, 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, all that stuff. The run button and the dodge button are the same thing. You know, right now, on my free time, I've been playing Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Well, I just finished it, but, which if you don't know, you know, it's got gorgeous, like, Disney-style, like, Disney Pixar animation character design. It's very, like, the world building is very Ghibli. It's very cute, very sweet. And the fights are very Dark Souls. They are brutally hard. But I'm not here to talk about Kena. The one thing I'm talking about is because it is a modern game with modern sensibilities. And it controls exactly. It's like, yeah, you have different abilities that, you know, like, you don't have a magic shield in this. blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it's like R1 is light attack, R2 is heavy attack, circle, dodge. You know, well, in this one, you know, L1 is block, but the other one's like using a magic shield. R2 is your, you know, other hand, and that one it's like doing magic stuff, but it controls almost identically with one key difference. In this game, you want to run, you hit the dodge button. In that game, it's modern. You press down on the trigger, and that lets you run. In this one, you can't do, and you're like, okay, that seems like the minorest of complaints. Why is it a major complaint? Because it gets in the way of dodging. When your run button is tied to your dodge, like it is now, here I am, I'm running, I'm like, dodge. I didn't dodge, I jumped. It makes a world of difference because you have to be like pressing the same button, which means you might accidentally run and jump. Like you saw it in Callum's fight, where I'm like, I finally got the tail, so now I don't have to run around to the back, which means I'm not holding the button to run, which means when I try and dodge, instead of doing that, I do that. So I really, really hope that this is fixed for future games, and that this is just a case, like, Dark Souls is an older game, and I hope that it's just a case of, at the time, using your movement stick, pressing it in, to run was just not a thing, and so in future games they change that. But it's like, it's a hardware issue that's lots of other games have dealt with, but it makes a difference in how you play, because it gets in the way. You know, it's not just like, oh, you have to hit R1 instead of, you know, square to attack. Like, you saw me do that, right, instead of attack, when I was busy playing Crisis Core on my free time. But that's just like, you press a different button. So that's fine. It doesn't matter what button you use for attack. What matters, though, is like when your buttons interfere with each other. Then it becomes an issue. So that's one of my major issues with this game. The other major issue, and I don't think they're going to change it. I'm guessing Dark Souls 2 and 3 and Elden Ring and Bloodborne and all those games have the same design, but it's a bad design. Not having save points before the bosses. Now this is the final point, so I'm going to keep going, but... all right, I don't remember where I'm going. Oh, we have to go in and fight this guy, right. Never mind, I will finish, so then maybe I can beat him the first time through, instead of running away this time. Well, okay, so here, this time you do get a save point right before the boss, but generally you don't. And as you saw just now in this very stream, in the fight against Gwyn, I spent nearly 2 minutes every fight just running from the bonfire to the fight. And you're like... It's sometimes that, like, is designed as, like, a stamina test. You know, it's like, you fight all the little dudes, and then you fight the big dude at the end. But in these cases, it's not even that, because you don't have to fight the dudes. Like, Artorias, I would just run through, like, you had to fight the 2 guys on the hill, and that was it. You know, this guy, even with a Black Knight on a, like, narrow bridge, I could just roll past him. You just saw that earlier this stream. I've only been streaming 1 hour, 48 minutes ago. You haven't forgotten by now. I could run from the start to the end without engaging the enemies. It's just a waste of time. It doesn't make the boss fight any more difficult or harder. You know, I'm not using my Estus resources before the fight. You know, it's not like a boss rush where it's like, fight this guy, then this guy, then this guy. And it's like, okay, well, if you heal early, you can't heal more later. You know, do you use your heavy, you know, do you use your fire orbs now, but then you won't have them later, but then you're more healthy. It's nothing like that. It just wastes your time. It's just a chore. And I don't think they're going to change it for the future games. I mean, I could check. Like, obviously, like, it's like, what are they going to do in the... all these games have already come out. Like, Dark Souls 2, 3, Bloodborne, Elden Ring. Yeah, they're out already. I guess I could look. But I just doubt that they changed it. Because they probably are like, it's a design. Like, you have to... You know, it's a hard game. Get from the thing. But it's not hard. It's annoying. And that's the difference. Like, yes, this is overall a hard game. You know, this isn't, you know, like, I like Mario games, but they're not, like, hard like Dark Souls are, right? Unless you're talking, like, you know, Kaizo, ROM hack thing, but we're just talking about the base games. Like Super Mario World, it's a very fun game. It's very different from this. So I can appreciate, yes, this is a game that's designed to be hard. It's like, you're gonna die, you're gonna have to, you know, get good. But there's different ways of being hard, and just making you run a long time from the save point to the boss isn't hard, and it's not fun. like you don't get anything from the game. All it does is waste your real life time. And I guess a little bit of your controller's durability because you keep hitting the run button, but you know, that's negligible. So that's why in the end, I don't think I will end up playing Dark Souls again once I finish getting all these achievements. It's a fun game, but at least Dark Souls 1, even in its remastered form, has not aged super. It's not the worst, but there are definitely flaws in it, and I hope that some of these flaws are addressed when I get to, you know, end up streaming or playing or whatever, things like Bloodborne and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring. You know, some of them I think maybe they will change, like the running and dodging button being instead pressing in the stick. Some of them I doubt they will, like the save points being far away, because they're probably like, it's a design choice. I'm like, yeah, it's a bad design choice, but... So I like this game, I like what it did historically for other games, but, you know, overall I think doing it once, and then, you know, a couple new game things for the achievements is enough. And that's my thoughts at the precipice of a new game plus. Go off and do some more achievement hunting. So I'm gonna call the stream here because A, it makes a good spot. This is a good send-off spot. We'll take the bird, but B, for my editing purposes, it'll be a lot easier if I end the stream. I could start a new one just for goofing around, but I don't need to worry about editing that. It'll be easier on my end. I'm lazy, so woo. So thank you for everyone who joined me in chat today. Thank you to everyone watching this on YouTube. And, you know, actually not just that, but, you know, I want to say thank you for coming along on this journey with me. You know, I hope that you enjoyed my Dark Souls 1 journey as much as I did. You know, despite the fact that, yeah, I've just been complaining a lot down here and saying a lot of critical things, like, I really like this game. Like, I was waiting to be like, I want to play more Dark Souls between last week and this one. Even with farming off stream, and I'm like, I want to play more. So I hope you had as much fun as I did. I am very excited to do more of this in the future. Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, one of those will be next. I am going to wait a bit, though, just so that, you know, the variety channel has at least a little bit of variety. Because, you know, this isn't everybody's cup of tea. So I'll do something else to mix it up. But I for sure will be back with more From Software. Yeah, otherwise, we're going to say special thanks to Snuggly, who is not here right now. You know, she's off getting something soft and warm. But otherwise, you know, whatever I might be doing next, I don't know what it'll be. But until then, see you next time.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.